ladies and gentlemen, to some more New York Jets franchise. And today we're going to be playing our second straight AFC Championship appearance. This time it's against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Isaiah Thomas is going to be out, but we are going to get Kyle Hamilton back for this game. We are going to have as much depth at the corner position as we would like. So actually no, it's not Aaron Rodgers, it's Roman Rhodes, the man who we were thinking of taking over our quarterback, Mike Ward. Not having Isaiah Thomas is going to be kind of painful, because he is a very important part of our team. Now, of course, Pittsburgh beating Cincinnati after Cincinnati beat down on Kansas City. That sent them to the AFC Championship. We could have had the #1 seed if Pittsburgh would have lost to Seattle, but they didn't. But we did beat Buffalo, who went on to beat Jacksonville. If the game against Jacksonville was a sign of anything, we could very well be in for a big game. 58 points dropped on Jacksonville's head. Most of those were just pretty much garbage time touchdowns, because we wanted to send a message to every team that ever beat us. Well, we wanted to send a message to the league, is what I'm trying to say. And then I wanted to send a message to the Jaguars saying, you ain't just going to get away with that victory so easy now, but we will make you pay. 30 points was the game. Jacksonville kind of slowed down in the second half. Now we're going to have to face off against the 16th best offense in the league. We've been getting better. We've been getting better as a team, but our defense has struggled. We have allowed about 28, 17. We have allowed more than 17 points in each of the games we've played. We don't really have too good of a defense. We are a bottom-dwelling defense, but we are heavily carried by our offensive passers, or by our quarterback, Mike Ward, on offense. He has been slinging the rock. We've been scoring a lot of points every single game. But Pittsburgh has one of the best defenses in the league. We should be on that level, but we're not. Their offense is only 85 overall, but if they play like Jacksonville, then we could get cooked on offense and defense. Right now, as it stands, Mike Ward is leading for the MVP award. And you don't really see a Steeler on here now, do you? Of course, Mike Ward has had one of the best seasons ever. Well, best seasons ever is a stretch, because the other quarterbacks have done, like Joe Burrow, he's thrown more yards, but nobody's thrown more touchdowns than Mike Ward has. He was only one away from having 50. And he only threw 8 interceptions as well. So, could the future MVP win this game and go on to the NFL Super Bowl? I don't know why I put NFL in front of it, but yeah, could we move on to the Super Bowl for the first time since 1968? This is going to be a rough game. We're going to have to fight hard, fight rough, tough, play smart, can't play stupid. Not to mention last week, Mike Ward did win Player of the Week. He got 6 touchdown passes, and Tony Adams, of course, he did pretty good. He kind of owned Trevor Lawrence when he picked him off for a pick 6 at the very end. He also got him a sack, so he was letting T-Law know the law of Tony Adams. Welcome to once was Heinz Field, which is now, Acrisure Stadium. It's the Steelers taking on the New York Jets in the AFC Championship. led by that man right there. The Jets have had a pretty good season, going 12-5, nearly winning the #1 seed. But this team beat Seattle at the very end of the season to keep that 1 seed. And here we go for the 2nd straight year. The New York Jets are going to try to find themselves hoping to get in the Super Bowl. And the Steelers are going to take this one out. And they're going to get it down to about the 23. Quarterback Roman Rhodes, who went in the same draft as Mike Ward. He isn't doing nearly as good as Mike, but he is still good. So we don't have Azariah Thomas for the day, but we will have Kyle Hamilton back. And he's going to have a big run up the middle. Caleb Johnson wearing number 22. They must have lost him and brought him back. 1st and 10. After the run from Caleb Johnson, they seem like they're going run heavy. And Hamilton can't bring him down. Johnson with a big run again. Maybe if we can send a blitz or something, that would possibly help. And we were going to go look pass. It's over the top. DK with the catch for the 1st. Only a gain of 1. Now Roman Rhodes, former top 5 draft pick. He's going to fumble. And Turner is not going to fall on it. But Trevante Bridges accounted with the sack. 3rd and 31. Steelers aren't quite in field goal range. They're just barely outside of it. And it's caught. Calvin Austin. It's going to be 4th and 6. They're going to be held to a field goal. Here comes the man, the myth, the legend, and the future MVP who did really great. Former number 3 draft pick. We have one of the best passing offenses, but Pittsburgh has one of the best defenses just in general. And ETN getting the 1st. Garrett Wilson was the intended target, but just didn't matter. He couldn't quite get him. He's going to have his man ETN, who's going to have a 1st. I think they were faked out by the pump fake. And then ETN is wide open over the middle. TJ Watt, he got there, but it wasn't in time. 1st down Jets. 3rd and 7. We're gonna try. I don't know why he's moving out there. We're gonna have Loveland. Who's gonna get a 1st? Great block from ETN. 1st and 10 from the 22. Driving down pretty efficiently. If we can get a good block, this would be great. And he's gonna get out of bounds with a 1st. So the jet sweep works perfectly on that one. It's gonna be the lineman in motion. And Taylor's gonna get in the end zone. Found over the middle. And Ward's got his man. His first, his day 1 guy, Mason Taylor with 6. He's been here since the very start of the series. And I would very much love it if Mason Taylor can take us to the promised land. He was supposed to run a stop route. Highsmith right there in his face. But it didn't matter. We get 6. So he picked up 4 on that one. And now Roman Rhodes. He's going to hand it off. That's Caleb Johnson again. He's got 51 on the day. And now Roman Rhodes. You know, this team would have looked a little bit different if we had him. And they're going to run it to jet sweep. kind of a trick sweep right there. Running it with their slot receiver. Bellingham look back to go to Johnson again. And that's exactly what they're going to do. But he's juking everybody out. Bridges there with the tackle, but Johnson already got a first down. He's pushed out of bounds after a short gain of 5. Now Rhodes looking to throw. And he's going to have his man Freiermuth. At the end of 1, it's looking bright. We're doing good. We're up 7-3. Offense drove down pretty efficiently. Defense is just, well, being their defense. We cannot stop them. But we've held them to only 3 this entire game so far. Seems to have filled into that Pittsburgh spot quite decently. Now, it's going to pass. And it's caught. Freiermuth with a touchdown. So Pittsburgh will take the lead. Pat Freiermuth with the catch for 6. It was man defense. Who was on coverage? Of course, it was Jamie and Sherwood, who got there just a little too late. He's a little too slow for Freiermuth, so Steelers get 6 and take the lead. That is why we're going to try to take it one step at a time. Don't play it too risky. Be quite smart about it. As Etienne getting the first on the run. He's doing pretty good in the run game. Incomplete pass intended for Etienne. He tried doing a little too much. Getting a diving catch. Now, the other Etienne is going to get a first. So intended for Malachi Corley. He had it in his hands. He just didn't hold on. But one man who will very much hold on is Colston Loveland, who's going to get a massive first down. Another first down. This team is racking them up. And we've got Rashawn White in there. We're going to be blocking. And somehow he doesn't get in. And we could go QB sneak here. But what's the fun in that? I mean, you've got a guy like Rashid Shaheed. All he has to do is run it up the field. He's in for 6, and he's going to do the handstand with the head, of course. The headstand, I guess. We get back up on the scoreboard. Give us back that lead, Pittsburgh. You never got it easy, so we ain't going to give you this one easy. We're going to show you, hey, we are the team to beat. So they're going to get a great return, and Roman Rhodes is, oh boy, that's too many 6s. Are the Steelers pulling some devil magic? I seriously doubt it, but Caleb Johnson, he's going to have a big run for a first already. Johnson's becoming a big problem, but they're going to go like a half T formation. And Johnson not worrying about anybody because he's just going to get a couple tackles broken. He's had 100 yards already on 8 rushes. They seem to be run heavy right now. Maybe going man will help stop that. And they're just gonna check it down. And he's gonna go down finally. Stutzman was there to get the stop. So now it's 3rd and goal. Can we force a goal line stop? And it's gonna be a no. Pittsburgh will get in for 6. Do not let this be a trend. 3rd and 6. I don't know why Etienne dropped that. But we're going to have Loveland, who's going to have plenty of room. Colston Loveland, he's reliable. So Colston Loveland with the catch. Of course, he's been pretty reliable. And Etienne with a big grab. Pretty accurate pass right there, I'd say. Mike Ward's doing pretty solid the first half. So the Jets get the first down. And now we're already on Pittsburgh's side of the field. 21 seconds left until the 2-minute warning. And it's picked off. Deshaun Elliott. And that's not what we do. We cannot do that. Steelers forced a turnover, and they got it. But now it's 2nd and 10. They've got 2 minutes left to go score. And it's just over the top of Sherwood. DK is going to get it, and he's going to disrespect Cisco. Okay, we're not allowing that. We cannot allow the disrespect on DK, or on Cisco. He's going to go down 2nd and 1. Too much pressure on him. And DK can't hold on. Incomplete. So we're going to need to try to get down the field, at least get a field goal. That would be the ideal situation. And Shaheed, he's going to get out of bounds. Or they'll flaunt. We don't really have much depth at the corner right now, so we kind of need them to stay in. So we're already on the other side of the field. A little bit more, and we'd be... ETN, he's going to get out of bounds. We're playing pretty efficient right now. And he's going to go down. That's poorly. We're going to call it our first timeout. Mike Ward has thrown a pick within pretty much every one of the last games. Shaheed, he's going to get down to the 1. We're going to call a timeout. We might be able to get something. And we're going to tell him to run. And we're going to have to hurry up. Hurry up, guys. And we can't get it off. That's going to be the end of the first half. We are down 14-7, but we are not out 14-7. We are still within relative Super Bowl range right now. We are not out of this one. We are not going to get highlights from the other game, but Caleb Johnson is doing really good against us here today. We cannot be having this. This is not how we play. Well, the defense is, but the offense we're actually doing pretty good on. That one pick, he should have just been able to lob it over deep, but Mike Ward's having an excellent game. So is ETN. Wilson hasn't really been targeted. 3rd and 6. Third downs happen quite a lot. And we're going to have Colston Loveland, who's going to grab it. Ward throwing it at the last possible second. 2nd and 6. It's going to be a handoff. ETN, he's got a first. That's a beautiful run by ETN. He can be great whenever he gets a chance. And we're going to have actually a pretty good chance. Shaheed, he's going to make a grab. They didn't have much men over top in coverage, so we just got it to Shaheed as quick as we can. 22-yard gain because they didn't have the right coverage at the time. And that's to Loveland, who's got plenty of space. He's going to get in the end zone, giving us back the lead. Jets will take that back very much. Thank you. And come again. Colston Loveland. Colston Loveland and the drag route is one of the most reliable things you can have. It's like if you're ever going to be on a betting a parlay on Colston Loveland hitting a drag, well, I can guarantee you're going to win that parlay and probably quadruple your money. We've done pretty well on that, and we'll have to continue doing that. But he's going to go down. Highsmith with a big-time sack. That's a 10-yard sack. But we can still gain those yards back. If we don't get sacked by Highsmith again. They have 3 sacks on the day. I think Olafishanu, he's like, yeah, man, that's on me. 2 times in a row, Fasciano allowed him to get by. What is Fasciano doing? He is a superstar dev left tackle, and he can't do his freaking job. And, well, they're kind of going to go. Let's look again. Over the middle to Freiermuth again. It seems Sherwood is not as fast as you would hope. And he's gonna go down, 4th and inches. Ladies and gentlemen, put up your 4s. We are going up 4 into the 4th to potentially go up to the Super Bowl for the first time in almost 60 long years. We can do it. We have just got to get this first down, and we can very much push our ticket, punch our ticket into the big old ball game. A big 3rd down here. And Etienne, he's going to have plenty of room. Worrying about getting a first down? No, we just got to worry about wasting this clock. 7.5 minutes left in the game. Jets are in prime position to pull off what some would consider an upset. And it's overthrown for 2. We're just... Oh boy, what is he doing in? Sean Watson? Yeah, okay, that's bad. That's bad. Mike Ward is back in. And Shaheed gonna hold on, but he's gonna get laid out. 3rd down. And Etienne drops it. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Membu's hurt. And this is a 54-yarder. The kick is up. And there's a penalty.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker.
So Pittsburgh gets a little too aggressive, and they're going to be trying to rough the kicker. So, Membu was hurt, but he kept him in. I'm going to go screen. We're just going to work miracles. Rachaad White, he gets the 1st and goal. Breaking tackle after tackle. He probably could have had a touchdown if he just stayed to the outside. But that's still pretty good for Rachaad White. On the halfback screen, Ward with 3 hands in his face. Guy get pancaked, just flattened. Ramsey in for the touchdown-saving tackle, though. 2nd and goal. We're wasting as much clock as we can. And Shaheed gets in for 6. Time draining, but the New York Jets are remaining as the leaders in this game. Ward, he had to sit out of play because he was just a little bit too tired. Watson came in, and I almost threw a pick with him. That's not a good idea. Rashica, he got open on the slant, and he got down for, well, the catch. We got to secure it. We can't have any risks, and Shaheed, he can be risky sometimes. So it was intended for Traylon Burks, who is actually a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rhodes couldn't quite find his man. And it's caught. Freiermuth over top. They're going to hurry up and try to drive downfield. They're going to need a 11-yard game. They need 11 more yards. And they're going to run it. He tries to go inside, but Paul goes down. They got to continue. Rhodes, lone man in the backfield. He's just going to check it down to Metcalf, who's going to go down. Gain of enough for the 50. Just a little bit above, a little bit past the 50, of course. But it's going to be a run. And he goes down. They're trying to play it quickly, but I don't know how much they're going to be able to actually do that. They're handing it off. That's Caleb Johnson. That's not the smartest decision. I get you're trying to gain yards, but it might be a little bit too late to try to just gain yards. You need to try to gain scores, touchdowns, anything. And they're just going to check it down to Johnson, who's going to go down. 2.5 minutes left. Right now, it's score or bust. So if you score, you still have a chance. But if you don't, this one's it. You could be losing your shot at a championship if you don't score here. It's a screen, and Kyle Hamilton can't make the tackle. 4th and 15. This is pretty much for the game. All it takes is 2 yards. 2 yards, and you could have just sealed this game. And we're going to hand it off. He's got plenty of running room up the middle, and Rachaad White doesn't want just a first down. He wants more. Give him 6. The big run up the middle by Rachaad White. We moved Barker over to the left side to block, but little did we know, Rachaad White just had to follow the blockers. He had plenty of running room. Jalen Ramsey, you ain't catching up to him. Look at that, throwing Joey Porter off of him. Get off him, little man. Joey Porter, you are done. Rachaad White, he is. Made you a son. Roman Rhodes is feeling the weight of, well, just how bad they're down right now. He's feeling the weight. It's not looking good for Pittsburgh. And they're trying to play a little bit of trickery, but it's not going to work on this defense. As Caleb Johnson goes down, it's 4th and 1. But they're going to hurry up, though. 4th and 1. It'd be big if we can get something. And Cordova knocks it down. That's game. We have just sealed our ticket into the Super Bowl. And ladies and gentlemen, we just pulled off the unthinkable. We're going to the Super Bowl. For the first time in almost 60 long years. Pittsburgh, y'all had a great year, but it doesn't matter. When New York comes to town, you best lay down. We're going to be doing it. We're going to have a chance to beat off a really good team in either freaking the Falcons or the Packers. We played really good this game. We didn't really start off that slow. Defense picked it up, though, around the end of the game, stopping them, getting us a 15-point victory. Ward, it takes this kind of performance to win games like this. Roman Rhodes didn't really have to do too much for them to still be in this game, but if maybe he would have done like 1 or 2 more touchdowns, maybe, just maybe, they could have stayed in this one and potentially, possibly win it. But they just didn't play good enough. He didn't really have that good of a game. Ward playing just significantly better. Roman Rhodes is an 86 overall, but Mike Ward is just too much. Now, he did throw a pick, but that pick was just pretty much... It didn't affect the game, really. Now, for the run game, both Rachaad White and Travis Etienne shared the load. Rachaad White getting that last second, or that touchdown on our last offensive drive. Well, technically second to last, but he still got a touchdown. He broke a couple tackles, and he was basically in the clear. 4 broke tackles. We broke a total of 8 tackles between Rachaad White and Travis Etienne. That is pretty awesome. But Caleb Johnson had 123 yards. They tried to basically force him down our throats, but we weren't going to allow that. We were not going to let them just run it like that. While being successful, of course, but they couldn't quite get in the end zone as much as they would have liked. Final score, 35-20. Now for the receiving game, the checkdowns, Colston Loveland on those drags was very, very helpful in winning this game. He did have one drop, but it's okay. He had 113 yards alongside Shaheed getting 105. Shaheed is, anytime I play, he's one of my best receivers, so speed is probably one of the best things to have. He had 2 touchdowns as well. Longest of 23, Etienne, or actually that's Travis Etienne Jr. Darius Etienne only had 28 yards. Rashad White, he did pretty good. He's kind of both a receiving and I'd say elusive back. He did get a trunk or two in this game, so I'd still consider that a pretty good victory. And Mason Taylor, of course, getting that 7-yard touchdown at the goal line, or from the 7. Good on him. He got one of the first touchdowns of the game. And I love to see Mason Taylor, our day 1 tight end, doing this good. Because he went from nothing to now being something and fighting for a championship ring. And on the defensive side, Pittsburgh kind of they led both teams in tackles. Hamilton and Flott led the game. Led the game for us in tackles. Flott, of course, filling in for the injured Azariah Thomas. So he seemed like he didn't really miss a step. He had one pass deflection, so you know they were trying to target him. Kyle Hamilton, of course, he had his return game today. This was his first game back, and it was a pretty good one. Now for TFL's Highsmith, he did incredible. He was cooking for Shanu, I'd say arguably our best offensive lineman. He was cooking him. He was just letting him know, no matter how good you are, whether you're a superstar dev or not, it doesn't matter. He's gonna beat him no matter what. But Shamar Turner, Sauce Gardner, and Kyle Hamilton all had 2 TFLs. And then if we go down even further, Cordell Flott, Sherwood. Man, there was a lot of TFLs in this game. Trevante Bridges and Jermaine Johnson. But for the sacks, we've got Highsmith getting 2.5 sacks on us. If whatever team we play, we cannot be having that. Shamar Turner got a sack. Trevante Bridges, the rookie out of Georgia, got a sack. TJ Watt, of course, got a half sack alongside his teammate Highsmith. Those are the 2 guys that you got to watch out for, and if they get too much going, then you can't score. But we did pretty good today. Now for interceptions, Deshaun Elliott. I tried lobbing it over top, but I guess the 95 speed and 96 deep accuracy, 95 throw power and 96 deep accuracy, I guess that just means absolutely nothing. So, that's fun. Let's look at the Pro Bowl roster. Of course, we aren't going to be on there because we're kind of in the Super Bowl. But it's nice to see some of these guys who are on here. Hagen's on there. Okonkwo is on there. At Fryermuth. And as you can see, a bunch of the guys from the Steelers, like Caleb Johnson's on there. Fryermuth's on there for the Steelers. I can imagine we'd have a lot more guys on here if we actually did if we lost this game, we would definitely have a lot. But look who's leading the Pro Bowl right now, Quinnen frickin' Williams. So he's made his first Pro Bowl appearance without us. Good for him. But we already have our 2 guys. We aren't worried about Pro Bowlers right now, as we are more worried about winning the big one, the Super Bowl. And then here's the rest of the guys who made it. A bunch of lower overall guys. Guy who looks like he could be named Charles Woodson, but trust me, he's not. Harrison Butker is considered the best AFC kicker. Now for weekly awards. You already know Mike Ward is on there. But Deshaun Elliott, he also made it. But Mike Ward, he's pretty much been one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and if he doesn't win MVP, then there's something wrong. Let's take a look at the yearly awards and look who it is. Mike Alicious Ward wins his first MVP and becomes the youngest MVP in NFL history at just the mere age of 22. He came this close last year, but fell to third. We do have an MVP player on our squad. Mike Ward might have just been the first MVP ever on the Jets, which that's absolutely freaking awesome. Let's check out around the league. Mike Ward, he doesn't quite get the Offensive Player of the Year. That goes slightly to Joe Burrow. And the next closest award winner we have is Trevante Bridges. He fell to number 7 in the Defensive Rookie of the Year, but don't count him out. He's been playing pretty freaking good. And Mike Ward, of course, wins the best quarterback. He's pretty much going to win that every single year now. The fact that he's a 99 X Factor, that's all you got to hear to know that this man's a beast. And Travis Etienne Jr., he's down at 8. So he is considered the 8th best running back in the AFC. Ashton Gentile will probably hold that title for, well, a while. And we have 2 of the best receivers in the AFC with Darius Etienne and Rashid Shaheed. Now, Garrett Wilson was on here at one point. I think we actually had all 3 of our guys on here. It's just, well, Wilson hasn't really gotten too many targets. We do have 2 of the best offensive linemen. Joe Tippmann, who we moved over to left guard. You've heard the story before. You saw it happen. And then Elijah Vera Tucker. Yeah. Pretty sure he plays right tackle. Either right guard or right tackle. I know he plays on the right side of the line. Pretty sure it's right tackle. He's done pretty good for himself. Now, Sauce Gardner falls to 2nd in the best DB category. I mean, him and Jaquan Brisker, we're kind of fighting for that spot. And the best kicker, Jake Bates, is all the way down to number 7. To be honest, my excuse is the fact that we have Deshaun Watson on the team. And Deshaun Watson, his influence might have rubbed off on Jake Bates just a wee bit. He likes getting massages. He recommended him some places. Yeah, this is not looking good. But we will be taking on Green Bay in Miami. And we're going to be having home field advantage, but it's not really going to matter because it's the Super Bowl. This is going to be a good one. Packers were the number 1 seed in the NFC. We were the number 2. This is going to be one heck of a freaking game. The Packers have had a relatively calm playoffs so far. They got the first round bye, so they didn't have to play then. They faced off against the Panthers, who destroyed the Buccaneers, and they just calmly beat the Panthers. Packers just calmly beat the Falcons. Now, they were kind of close. It was a 5-point game, but Falcons couldn't pull it out at the end. It was tied. Actually, Atlanta had the lead 17-7 going into halftime. Then it was 20-14, 23-28. Atlanta's defense just couldn't hold on in the 4th. Green Bay had a big time coming back. And if Atlanta wouldn't have allowed it, they probably would. If they would have allowed less than 2 touchdowns, if they wouldn't have allowed 14 points, they would have certainly won the game. But they didn't. They allowed 14 points in the 4th. So It's kind of Atlanta shooting themselves in the foot. Their defense not playing good enough. Michael Penix, he had a pretty solid game. He played a lot better than Jordan Love. Now, they both got sacked at least once. They had a very similar game, both throwing about 30 passes, having a pretty decent QB rating. Both these players seem to be relatively similar. And then Josh Jacobs, he had a great game against Atlanta. 101 yards, 21 attempts, 3 touchdowns. He broke 3 tackles. His longest was 10. So they're probably using him on the goal line as much as they can. They probably won't run QB sneak nearly as much as you would think. But he got 101 yards today, or last week, so he's gonna be cooking us. And then for the receiving game, Green Bay did allow Jamie Parker to get 116 yards. He's a second-year player out of Iowa. He looks like he's pretty good. And 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. Romeo Dobbs was their leading receiver. They didn't really get too many good players getting a receiving touchdown. Josh Jacobs, 2 catches, 21 yards for a touchdown. So they probably like to run a little bit of halfback screen, so we got to pay attention for that. Probably got to pay attention for guys like Romeo Dobbs and Tucker Kraft, heck, even Matthew Golden. He has electric speed. Jaden Reed, he's a really good receiver as well. Green Bay's definitely built up a pretty solid receiving core for young Jordan Love, who he sat his time behind the other players, and now he's getting his opportunity, and he's kind of cooking. In tackles, Packers didn't really lead too much. Edgerrin Cooper had their most tackles. Now for TFLs, Packers had a total of 4 TFLs. Jalen Walker was the only man to get a singular TFL against them. So Atlanta, they couldn't really get much. But Green Bay, they might have a pretty good O-line. But then again, so do we. We have a pretty solid one ourselves. Now as for sacks, Rook Ororo. I probably said that wrong, but Ruko, he got a sack. 4th-year player out of Clemson. And neither man threw a pick, so it seems Clayton Randall, the rookie out of North Carolina State, or NC State, I'm sorry, same thing. The rookie out of NC State, he's the only man to get a sack against Atlanta, so we might have to look out for him. They don't quite have Micah Parsons because he's still on the Cowboys in this. Which, if he's in free agency, oof, man, we might just have to go after him. If we can go after a really good player in free agency, then I certainly will, but we got to try to re-sign our guys first. But as you can see, the Packers are top 10 in almost everything. This is going to be a tough game. It is indeed going to be really tough. We probably have a couple injuries of our own. Actually, no, we don't, but they have Quay Walker and Oakley out, so that's going to help us significantly. They're not going to have some of their best players on their defense, so we might be able to have a much better defense than previously thought. Everybody has high approval of us. We went from almost getting fired to having everybody kind of like us. We only have a really good passing offense, and that's pretty much it. We can run the ball for sure, yeah, but we don't have the best run game. Green Bay, they kind of have it all. They're kind of like one of the most well-rounded teams in the NFL as they are right now, but the Jets look to do what they haven't done since 1968. I believe that is 53 years. I believe. I could be wrong. in, actually, that'd be like 57, in 57 years, the Jets haven't made or won a Super Bowl. That's kind of crazy. A 57-year Super Bowl drought. That's got to be pretty bad. But then again, you got to remember, some teams just don't even have a Super Bowl. So we've got to be fortunate that we even made it here. We beat the Steelers. We beat the Broncos. We beat the Buffalo Bills. Actually, the Bills we didn't play. We beat the Jaguars, I should say, because they beat the Bills, so we're indirectly beating the Bills. Screw you, Buffalo. But that's going to be it for this episode. Next episode, we will take on the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl Miami. That's going to be the biggest game of the entire series so freaking far. If you have enjoyed and you want to see more Jets franchise, you know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. I am yo boy Baller One, as always, saying peace out, everyone.